So in the previous video we talked about 10 hidden references of Demon's Souls in Dark Souls 3, and because of the huge support of that video I decided to do a sequel with even more references. I am SanelSK and today I'm going to be showing you another 10 hidden references of Demon's Souls in Dark Souls 3. So without further ado, let's go with even more nostalgic stuff. The Bullet REM Palace. In Dark Souls 3 there are numerous references to the Bullet REM Palace, and they are all actually listed in the Lothric Castle. Now I'm going to be just saying the flow of the level, and I'm going to be listing the references alongside because that's the best way that I can show them to you. Now both are the first area that you encounter after the hub and the tutorial areas, and you beat the first boss there so that you can access the other locations in the game. But you can also continue with the map and encounter another boss fight. Now both boss fights use a big great shield and has a unique armor, and they have enemies on the right and left side throwing projectiles at you. And I'm talking about the Tower Knight and the old Dragonslayer armor. Now also their armor sets, both of them, especially the headpiece, they are very similar, but it is a big shame that you can't get either of their armors in Demon's Souls or Dark Souls 3. Especially for Dark Souls 3 it's a big shame, because we can access almost all of the humanoid boss's armors. And after you beat this boss you encounter a door which you cannot open unless you beat major bosses. In Demon's Souls they are the demons, and in Dark Souls 3 they are the Lords of Cinder. And after you beat them you can open this door and continue to the last area of the game where you're going to be encountering the last major boss. And there you encounter 3 NPCs which are hostile to you, and one of them has a bow, and 2 of them are male and 1 is female, just like Demon's Souls. There's also like this big area with stairs where dragons are fire breathing at you, trying to stop you from reaching the final boss of this area. There are also long stairs which are full of those wooden blanks and common enemies, and some of them have crossbows, and at the top of these stairs there are red-eyed knights, just like the road before the Penetrator boss in Demon's Souls. So we basically conclude that Lothric Castle is basically a reskinned Bullet REM Palace. I'm not hating on From Software or anything, I actually like the idea of this because I really loved both areas and they really give you this nostalgic feeling, and I'm sure that I've missed a lot of references as well to Bullet REM Palace and Dark Souls 3 in general, but that's what we have for this segment. Next we have is the Shrine of Storms. There are also a couple of references to Demon's Souls from the Shrine of Storms. First is the Adjudicator Shield. Now this shield was in Demon's Souls, you can find in the Shrine of Storm, and when you have it equipped your health slowly regenerates, and it is the lightest great shield in Demon's Souls. Same with in Dark Souls 3 the Ancient Dragon Great Shield, which you find in the Archdragon Peak, and the shape of that shield is a lot similar to the Adjudicator Shield, and also it has the same health regeneration effects, and it is also the lightest great shield in the game. Also, the drawing on the Ancient Dragon Great Shield, like if you look at the head of the dragon, it hugely resembles the Dragon God from Demon's Souls, which is an ancient dragon as well, another reference to Demon's Souls of course. Also, another reference to the Shrine of Storms is the Old Hero. The Old Hero is this boss, this giant boss you encounter in this very narrow room, you can say. And in Dark Souls 3 we encounter Yhorm the Giant, and the room in general and the boss fight, like the way they both hit you and they both attack, they are super similar. Like if you have played against the Old Hero you will immediately feel nostalgic when you enter the room of Yhorm. And also we can't forget that Yhorm has the Storm Ruler in the boss fight arena that you use to kill the boss, just like the King of Storms in Demon's Souls, which you have to take the Storm Ruler and kill the boss using it. Next we have is the Blue Blood Sword. Now this sword was a very unique sword in Demon's Souls as it scaled with luck, and in Dark Souls 3 we find Anri's Straight Sword, which also scales with luck. But both the descriptions of Anri's Straight Sword and the Blue Blood Sword are super similar, like 99% the same, it's only rephrased. The Blue Blood Sword reads, "The sword of true nobility, endowed with the essential power of humans are born with, which increases its attack power," and Anri's Straight Sword say, it was once the sword of an earnest, noble figure, and its attacks are boosted by that elusive, essential property unique to humans, luck. So it basically explains why the Blue Blood Sword scales with luck better in Dark Souls 3. But I just hope that Anri's Straight Sword was longer, because the hitbox is very short on that one, not like other Straight Sword in Dark Souls 3 like the Dark Sword or the Erythel Straight Sword. Next we have is Bhur of the Twin Fangs of Boritaria. I don't know, I just like saying his name like that, but anyways. Bhur is an NPC that you find imprisoned, and once you free him he actually thanks you and then he goes to sleep. And when you go to the Penetrator boss fight, as soon as you enter he actually comes and helps you without summoning or anything, just like Sigurd of Katarina in Dark Souls 3. Now before you say that Sigurd is a reference to Sigmar of Katarina from Dark Souls 1, yes he definitely is, but he also shares many similarities with Bhur from Demon Souls. Sigurd of Katarina, you find him imprisoned at some point, and once you free him and go fight Yhorm the Giant, he actually, same as Bhur, enters, says a couple of things and helps you beat the boss. And when you finish the fight in both Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3, he sits on the ground and then you talk to him and they both take a nap and sleep. Like, wow. Also, both of them use the Zweihander, and also something I noticed, I'm sure this is not intended, but if you look at the face of Sigurd and the face of Bhur, both of them have blue eyes, and both of them, like the mustache, they kind of look similar. I don't know, it was just something that I noticed. And finally, the best reference of all, the fat officials. Now, I found this written in the wiki of Demon Souls, that if you want to find the fat officials, look for bad tasting clothing with a funny hat and an ugly grin. Like, this made me laugh to the ground. Like, this is one of the worst enemies in Demon Souls, or for me in gaming in general. Like, the way this enemy laughs and the way he attacks, it's just like so bullshit. In Dark Souls 3, they returned them as the Evangelists that you find in a couple of places, including the Undead Settlement and the Cathedral of the Deep, and they share the same laugh and they also use magic, and also the design of those enemies, it is very, very similar to the fat officials, especially the neck part. And one thing that has kind of bothered me is look at the faces of the Evangelists. They're all supposed to be female, but look at that cute face, like, damn, with that chin and... yeah, I just don't know what to say. Now, you also know that in Lothric, time and space are convoluted and things from other worlds come to our world. So maybe those were the wives of the fat officials and they came into Lothric because of that. Maybe we need to see the lore on that. No, that didn't happen and that will never happen. So yeah, that concludes our video today. I hope you all enjoy. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and sharing this video with your friends. It really means a lot to me, and subscribe for more Dark Souls 3 content. So I guess I'll see you later, Unkindled. Bye bye.